Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a World Cup quarterfinal that, let's be honest, looked way less like a competitive knockout match and a whole lot more like a high-stakes training exercise. We are breaking down France's terrifying and frankly downright brutal dominance over Morocco. We're going to look at exactly what makes this French squad so unbelievably unstoppable, dissect the systemic, tactical collapse of the Moroccan side on the day, and explore why, even after taking a heavy defeat like this, Morocco's future is actually looking incredibly bright.
But really, the massive question hanging over world football right now is this: how on earth do you stop the unstoppable? I mean, how does any team left in this tournament even begin to solve the Rubik's Cube of this current French squad? When you're up against a team that can slow a game down to an absolute crawl and then speed it up into a devastating counterattack in the blink of an eye, is there actually a blueprint to beat them?
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's exactly how we're breaking it down today. First, the untested goalkeeper. 2, France's tactical dominance. 3, the genius of Mbappe. 4, where Morocco went wrong. And finally, 5, the future of Morocco.
Starting with part 1, the untested goalkeeper, or when dominance means doing absolutely nothing.
You know, there's a really fascinating contrast in how teams actually go about winning World Cups. On the one hand, you've got campaigns where the goalkeeper is just the undisputed savior. Think about Amy Martinez for Argentina in 2022, right? Or Buffon for Italy back in 2006. Without those literal miraculous saves, their teams are absolutely not lifting that trophy. But then, you have these historically dominant teams. Think Brazil in 2002 with Dida, or France in 2018 with Hugo Lloris. You almost never talk about their spectacular saves. Why? Because the team's defensive structure and possession were just so flawless that the keeper was barely even tested. And guys, that is exactly what we are seeing with Mike Maignan in this current French setup. Through the group stages and straight into the knockouts, France's defense has been so absolute that Maignan simply hasn't had to play the hero. They are completely dictating the game state before the ball ever even gets near their penalty box.
Moving on to part 2. France's terrifying tactical dominance, a true masterclass by Didier Deschamps.
Listen, Didier Deschamps is the definition of horses for courses. He consistently feels the exact right team to exploit whoever is standing in front of him. First off, France has absolute game state control. If they want to sit deep and invite pressure, done. If they want to step up and completely crush you, they'll do that too. Their defensive shape is literally flawless, and it relies heavily on fullbacks who just go out and win their one-on-one battles every single time. But offensively, you've got to appreciate this brilliant little nuance. Players like Dembélé and Mbappe will receive the ball in super tight spaces, and instead of taking a touch that might slow them down, they just let the ball run across their bodies. In one fluid motion, they open up the entire Moroccan backline and instantly trigger a devastating attack. They literally have an answer for every single phase of play.
And what's powering this whole machine? The midfield. Coming into this tournament, there were definitely whispers. People were wondering, hey, is France's midfield heavy enough without some of their historical big names? Well, let me introduce you to Manu and Adrien Rabiot. Rabiot is basically Mr. Dependable. He's constantly perfectly positioned to control the tempo. But Manu, he was the absolute man of the match against Morocco. His game reading, his anticipation, the way he dynamically wins the ball back in transition, it meant that even when Morocco actually had a bit of possession, they were entirely shut down before they could even think about threatening. Koné grabbed his opportunity on the world stage with both hands and made this midfield battle look almost unfairly one-sided.
All right, part 3, the genius of Mbappe, or as I like to call it, breaking down the cheat code.
But let's actually start with a super rare moment of vulnerability. In the first half, Mbappe wins a penalty. Standing in his way is Yassine Bounou, a goalkeeper with a frankly staggering record. Across FIFA World Cups, facing 9 penalties including shootouts, Bounou had only conceded twice before this match. That immense pressure, combined with a painfully long VAR check, clearly clouded Mbappe's judgment for a second. He had successfully converted 15 successive penalties since Euro 2020. But Bounou forced a miss. It's a great reminder that even the absolute best players on the planet can get a little rattled by elite goalkeeping mind games.
But of course, you cannot keep a genius down for 90 minutes, and this brilliantly illustrates why. Watch how his sheer footballing intelligence just totally takes over for his second half goal. He gets the ball, defenders are absolutely swarming him. Step 1, he drops his left shoulder without even touching the ball, instantly shifting the defender's weight. Step 2, he purposefully uses that same defender's body as a visual screen, completely blinding the goalkeeper. Step 3, he unleashes a knuckleball that bends sharply right at the far post. The keeper never stood a chance because he literally couldn't see the ball coming until it was already past him. Just an incredibly high IQ finish. So, the crucial takeaway here boils down to one number: 12. With that strike, Kylian Mbappé has now scored 12 World Cup knockout goals. That officially ranks him #1 all-time in the history of the sport for knockout stage goals. He is undeniably the scariest version of a player in world football right now. He can beat you with pure pace, clinical finishing, tight dribbling, or just raw footballing IQ.
Which brings us to part 4, where Morocco went wrong and the collapse of a game plan. So what happened? Well, Morocco completely abandoned that front foot aggressive style that got them to the quarterfinal in the first place. They played incredibly deep. I mean, shockingly, their midfielders barely registered a single tackle. But the absolute most glaring error was starting the match without a recognized striker like El Kaabi. By sitting back with literally no real outlet up top, Morocco essentially waved a white flag right from the opening whistle. They played with an inferiority complex. They basically told France, "We don't think we can score today, we're just hoping you don't." And look, when you invite that much pressure from a team this technically gifted, you are just waiting to be broken down.
I absolutely love this quote from the source material to describe how this match felt. It says it was like watching a prime Floyd Mayweather just get their head jabbed off for 12 rounds. Morocco knew they were outclassed, and they just had to stand there, taking hit after hit, without ever really being able to throw a counterpunch. France didn't even have to shift out a second gear. They just comfortably jabbed their way to a routine 2-0 victory. A victory that, honestly, could have easily been 4-5.
And finally, part 5, the future of Morocco and how they're winning the long game. To really understand their current success, we have to zoom out and look back. In 2002 and 2006, Morocco completely missed qualifying for the World Cup. But instead of just panicking and firing managers left and right, they actually invested. In 2009, they opened a state-of-the-art national training facility. They started building proper, sustainable infrastructure. And yeah, it took time. They missed out again in 2010 and 2014, but that patience laid a rock-solid foundation. Now they are reaping the massive rewards as back-to-back World Cup quarterfinalists. They realized a vital truth. To compete on the global stage, you have to build a world-class domestic environment first.
Their secondary strategy has been brilliantly leveraging a massive global diaspora. This squad is an incredible melting pot of talent born in Morocco, France, Spain, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Canada. Now, historically, players of African descent born in Europe often chose to play for European nations, mostly because a lot of African federations were seen as disorganized or unprofessional, while Morocco completely flipped that script. By offering a highly professional, well-organized, and frankly successful setup, they became the gold standard. They made it incredibly appealing for top-tier dual national talents to come home and represent their ancestry.
And honestly, the scariest part for the rest of the footballing world, this is really just the beginning. Right now, their under-17s and under-20s are actively winning major international youth tournaments. This means a massive pipeline of purely homegrown talent is currently filtering straight through their ranks. So while they might rely heavily on the diaspora right now, the next 2 or 3 World Cups are going to feature a Moroccan squad packed with talent forged directly in those world-class academies they started building way back in 2009. They are, quite literally, building a genuine footballing empire.
So yes, Morocco is undoubtedly building an absolute powerhouse for tomorrow. But that brings us right back to our original problem. With Kylian Mbappé playing in his absolute prime, a midfield functioning flawlessly, and a manager who treats quarterfinal matches like simple training exercises, can anyone actually solve the Rubik's Cube of France today? Or are we really just waiting to crown them champions once again? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this breakdown brought the tactics and the deep history of this match to life for you. Keep analyzing, and I'll catch you on the next one.